Hey guys, welcome back. I hope by now we're all clear with the use of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If not, you can check out my previous video in this course. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. I'll be making 3 separate videos teaching HTML, CSS, PHP, MySQL, and JavaScript in brief. So if you really want to see it, you can, or we can just continue. In each of these courses, we'll be designing the login page and making it functional. So today, as you already know by the title, we're going to be studying HTML together. Technically, we're going to build the blog together, and on the way, I'm going to explain everything. What I feel is the best way to learn coding is by starting a project and learning everything on the way. Basically, you don't learn everything in the start. You learn it as you're doing your project. Okay, so let's actually start with the video. The project files in the starting of the video and ending of the video are in the description below. Today, we're going to be building a layout for the login page, which includes the login form and a little information about our blog. First, let's rename index.html to login.html as it's going to be our login page, not our home page. Then, let's delete all the CSS, JavaScript, and HTML we added in the last video. Let's start by creating a heading. For headings, there are tags known as the heading tags, obviously. The difference between a heading and a paragraph tag is that heading tags make the text bold and usually bigger. The heading tags comes in different sizes. They range from H1 to H6. As you have most probably guessed, H1 is the largest of the heading tags and H6 the smallest. Anything below H3 gets really small and hence we won't be using it. Let me put my blog name between the H1 tag. I'm going to name my blog Talk. I know it sounds stupid, but anyways, you can name it anything you want and you can experiment with other heading tags. Now, let's create a div with an ID of login. Now, what is div and an ID? Div is basically used to divide your HTML page into several parts which help you style and organize it better. ID is a unique name which can be given to any tag. It helps CSS and JavaScript in identifying which tag I'm referring to. We'll see that more in detail in the next video. Classes is also an identity which can be given to any tag, but it's not unique and multiple tags can be given the same class, whereas an ID is unique and can only be given to one tag. Now, we want to let our users know that it's our login page. So inside the div login, let's create a heading with an ID of login heading and login inside. Then let's create a form with an ID of login fields and give it an action of hash. Now remember, whenever giving an ID or class to a tag, never leave a space. If you leave a space, the computer recognizes it as two different classes, or it will just take the first word as an ID. So as you can see here, if you leave a space between login and fields, the computer will only consider login. If you change it to class, your computer will only take it as two separate classes, login and fields. So let's just change this back to ID and change it back to login fields. To cover this up, you convert a space into an underscore or change the first letter of the next word to uppercase. This is also known as camel casing. You can also just put a dash between the two words. So, what is a form here? Forms are used to get input from the user in HTML. The action attribute defines which page the browser takes you to when the form is submitted. Hash means it will stay in the current page without reloading it. The form login fields will be holding the username and password field and a submit button. So first, let's create the username text box. To create a text box, we use the input tag. Input tags always have an attribute of type. The type defines what kind of input it takes from the user. For example, text, password, radio, etc. I'll leave a link to all the input tags in the description below. Remember, the input tags don't have a closing tag. A few tags don't have a few HTML tags in HTML don't have a closing tag, and we'll be coming across more of them on the way. So yeah, let's give the input type of text for the username box, and give it an ID of let's give it an ID of login username box, and let's add a placeholder of enter your username. Placeholders are just watermarks which disappears when you enter something in the text box. Let's create another input tag with a type and give it a type of password. Which basically we use the text as black dots. Let's give the password box an ID of login password box. And a placeholder, enter your password. Now we need to submit the form, and to do that we need to create a submit button. To create a button, we can either define an input tag and give it a type of submit, or we can define button tags. Give it a type submit, and the text which is going to be on the button is going to be between the button tags. So here we'll be using the button tags as it's easier to style in the future, and I'm comfortable with it. Let's create the button tag, give it a type of submit, and give it a text of login. And that's going to be a login form. Now we want to give the user links to sign up and forgot password. So let's create a div with an ID of login links. ID of login links. Inside that, we want to add two links, the sign up and forgot password. To create a link in HTML, we use the A tag. Let's create the first tag and give it a href of signup.html. Href tells which link the page will go to when the link is clicked. Here it is signup.html. We haven't created the page yet, but that's what the name is going to be. Between the A tags, we type in what text we want to be displayed on the web page. Here let's type don't have an account, sign up now. Let's also give this an ID of login sign up link. Next, let's create another link with the href of forgot.html. And an ID of login forgot link, and the text being forgot your password, click here. Now that that's done, you want to tell our users what our blog is about. So for that, let's create a div with the ID of about blog. Inside that, we have two sections telling two different things about the blog. Let's create two divs. The first one with an ID of about section 1, and the second one then ID of about section 2. Inside the first section, let's create a p tag which will have the text share your work ID. One second. So which will have the text share your work ideas, memories, and much more on Blog Talk, because that's what our blog does. Let's also give the p tag an ID of about section 1 text. And inside the About section 2, let's create another P with an ID of About section 2 text. The text being now the main part is over. Let's add a footer which will have the copyright. First, let's create a div with an ID of footer. Inside that, let's create a p tag which will hold the copyright information. Remember, this is not an actual copyright. Inside the p tag, let's add a span tag. The span tag is basically a tag used to change a part inside a tag. It's just a common practice. Inside the span tag, let's add the copyright symbol by typing and copy. This is known as an entity. Reserved characters in HTML must be replaced with character entities in HTML. Characters that are not present on your keyboard can also be replaced by entities. As you can see, when I type "and" in Dreamweaver, it gives me all the entities and what they represent. I'll leave a link to all the entities in the description. And then after the span tag, let's type in Shreyas Tutorials 2017. Okay, so we finished the layout for the login page. Congrats. Now, let's go ahead and preview it. Okay, so that obviously doesn't look that good and not even close to a real login page. We could make a few changes right now in HTML, like keeping the text boxes and links on different lines. For that, we need to add a breakpoint. A breakpoint can be added using a BR tag. Now, let's add wherever we need it.
There and there and there.
It looks okay for now. It's not even close to a regular login page anyways, and we'll be styling this page to the fullest and making it look more like a real login page in the next video. This time, we actually finished the layout for the login page. So, I hope I was clear to you and you understood everything I was trying to explain. So, this is obviously not everything about HTML, and we're going to be doing the full HTML like on the way. The reason I told in the start. Remember, all the project files are in the description below. So, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Suggestions and feedback in the comment section below. Any questions or queries, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Anyways, please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next one.